Welcome to Path of Faith, where we embark on a journey of spiritual discovery, guided by the timeless wisdom of faith and the teachings of Jesus Christ.
The first thing people see, my people of us, is our testimony. What people are realizing is the way we are people. It's the way you are human. We recognize the nobility of a soul is not in clothing she wears. It's not what she says she is, but it's how she acts. A person, when you have contact with her and you gradually find out as that person is evangelizing. But what we realize from the other is this nobility of character, right? This is what evangelizes. What is the word gospel, right? It is the life of Jesus. It's not the word he said, no. It is above all what he did, what he lived. I always say, look, we need to be very careful. Evangelizing for something. How many people do you find that are truly traumatized in life? Traumatized because one day someone was cruel to her. I'm not talking about being cruel. Demanding? No. Because sometimes we confuse. The nuns in the past who took over the schools, they were very demanding, but it was a loving requirement. You may often have an angry person, but she is angry because she is loving, different from the cruel person who has left a trail of destruction where she went. When you find a person strongly marked by a presence negative, it's so sad, my people. We do not know how long we have. What is the opportunity we have to spend in the other's life? But sometimes we pass a trail of destruction. I am very attentive to this because it bothers me too much. I remember once I was coming out of the Nova Canção in a hurry. I had finished the program, and I had an appointment in Taubaté. And in that, there was a woman that I just identified like this, she running too. And me in that hurry. Terrified like that, she said, "Father, take a picture with my daughter." And the little girl came along, guys. But I said not with a desire that I was already annoyed. Late. It was raining. All that confusion. I saw that in that word, no. You see that I have no conditions. Then she seemed to be a very modest person who had sought all her strength and hearts to be able to ask me for me. You know? Because there are people who don't care, right? You give a kick. It already comes out all happy and it doesn't care. But there are people who don't. There are people who make a damned effort to get close to you. It's gathering all the courage there. Not even when you still come up to this. I saw, my people, that word was so aggressive to her that she couldn't say anything. Just did it and went out. I think I spent a couple of days with her face in my head. I said, "My God from heaven, that crap." Not to mention another word, which I did now. Because when you are like this at your limit, because it is also unfair to us. Sometimes we put the other in a situation and we take it the worst. Sometimes we are unfair to each other. But when you have the clear feeling that you were and that you will turn into a bad memory for another, this is so bad. And it's not an image issue, because it goes by oral. This is silly. I'm talking about hurting. It is to leave in the other a negative brand, me as a priest above all, you as a nun. I, who have many religious friends, sometimes we talk about it very frankly. Sister Sandra, I evangelize when I pass the courtyard of the school, even if I do not open Femi mouth. I evangelize when I open the door and I get someone inside the hospital. Because she perceives everyone in the hall. I remember I operated twice there. I was a seminarian yet. She passed the corridors like this, pulling. So she saw a person talking. For God's sake, stop smoking. My lungs are shouting that they want to live. And smiling, giving the woman a hard time, right? Or the woman was pregnant. For God's sake, stop smoking. You will cancer your child. That accent of her. This is evangelizing. But she speaks sweetly. The hard word is being said with sweetness. Someone is worrying about you. Now, when we transforming us, people into cruel people, for God's sake, when you realize that you were cruel in life, it's impressive how much we, fighting for the gospel all the time, at some moments of life, where we are truly cruel. The cruelty. When you act with evil, you know you are hurting. You know you are hurting. And you do it. I don't know. It's impressive because we need to get the exact notion of these things. Because otherwise we become a racine of destruction where we go. Rasa of destruction. How much we can be today. Which it is the dosage of my kindness, so that we do not turn into such an example. Look, the institution is Christian. But the behavior that is there is not. It is the same thing that sometimes happens in our sacristy. When we are preparing the celebration and you realize that the spirit that prevails there is not a Christian. The rite we will celebrate is Christian, but the human attitude that accompanies is not. The posture of those who are later to do, to reap, no, not a Christian. So I don't know what it is. Is it caricature? Is it falsehood? Is it hypocrisy? No, it is not to be. It doesn't have to be. Who said the Christian environment has to be like this? It doesn't have to be. It's time for us to start getting rid of this hypocrisy. Let's start to compromise a little more to what is the specific of our life. Christianity cannot be a facade, no? It's the attitude. It's the way I treat my employee who tells me if I'm a Christian or not. It's the way I share what I have, which will show if I'm a Christian or not. It's the way I welcome the simple person, the humble person, or bad person. It doesn't matter. I always say this. The treatment we give to the people who work with us is there you are evangelizing. How many times have you heard of employees who worked for many years in that college? Many years in that convent? Many years in that seminar? Was secretary I do not know who? Secretary of such a bishop? Secretary of such a priest? And this is where the main one of our evangelization is. Now, it's not me just that I have to be careful. It's not just the bishop. Christianity is small and is happening now among us in the relationship we dispense, we give ourselves, in the treatment you give the person, the way you deal, how you find the person who is in the same hostel as you, in the kindness you perform the moment you realize that another needs you realize. This is a gospel. It is the beautiful of life happening, and it is so good that we will enter the new year with this conscience. Today I can make the world better from my attitudes. It was a bad nun until today. It doesn't matter. It changes. You have conditions. Oh, what about your woman's heart so beautiful that you need to come out? It is your involvement with the Christ. Falling in love with Christ is not small talk. No. Passion. The love we have for Jesus has to be of involvement. I love the causes that are His. And I want to fight for the causes that are His. I want to live the same way as Him. As Father Zezinho said. Very simple. Very direct and beautiful. Loving as He lived, dreaming how He lived, speak as He said, have the same gestures as Him. And that, yes, is evangelizing. We have the posture that brings the other close, instead of being afraid of us. No, love has to approach us. Love has to always put us in the willingness to be with others with quality, to make good marks. This is what is worth in life. And what will be all that we do is precisely this time, this flower we have made to blossom. Let's put this before us. You who work in the prayer group, you who work in your parish, in your community. No matter what our religion is, if you have any function in this life, perform in charity. If you are a director, if you are a secretary, it doesn't matter. If you are the boss, or if you are the most humble, we are all facing the same responsibility. With more solidarity, with more affection, with more tenderness. This is what we need. The world is in need of people who make this difference. Like I was in line with a supermarket in Taubaté. Before yesterday, I went to buy a cheese. Sadness, right? Buying a cheese on the eve of New Year's Eve. That dump of people making purchase, and I with a cheese in a huge line to pass. He says he had a minor athletic in front of me. It is not even very pleased with him, right? He is athletic. And then he looked at me and he said, "Can pass that you only have one thing to do." Right? To buy. Then I found his gesture cute, right? I wouldn't have to do this, would you? I was already waiting for a long time for his solidarity. Then he played, "Only You Will Send a Hug to My Mother Tomorrow." There in Saint Jean del Rey. After I had passed, he said he knew me. He didn't speak up. Just send a hug. Then, I don't know her name. He said, "I don't remember," from Saint John del Rey. His son approached me yesterday. He is there with you. He said he would be, and he was kind to me. This is what we are talking about. When we discover the opportunity to be kind to someone, you must have taught the gospel well for him. It is from this Christian that we need. Not the one who is in the pulpit, not only the one on the altar, but the one who is in the supermarket line, the one who is there in the Greek, the one who is there in the company, and who is capable of kindness gestures. You can pass. Welcome, right? I open the door, I do. The other day here at Recife Airport, I remember I had two women like that, with some heavy bags, and I with my secretary already taking mine, right? And then they needed to climb a stairs. I said like this, "Do you want me to take this suitcase to lady?" And I've been taking it. She was so scared, then she thought I was stealing the suitcase, right? Then, when he got up there, she turned and told me like that. "Oh, sorry." I was scared. It's because I'm not used to it. Then I thought, when we can be kindly with someone, the other is fright, because we are not used to her. It's easier not to be, but it may be different from me.
As we conclude this spiritual exploration on Path of Faith, we invite you to engage with us by leaving your comments, liking this video, sharing it with others, and subscribing to our channel for regular doses of uplifting messages.